Hasbro, enough. Enough with the ties. That is brutal and a waste. I like new toys and I cannot lie. You know, I got a bunch of new toys just kind of littered through my office waiting to be opened since Christmas. Do you want to watch? Thanks for coming back to the channel, everybody. I have got some new toys that are waiting since December to be opened. I'm Victor. This is Pop Connoisseur to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. These Transformers aren't from the 80s, but this is an intellectual property that I've been emotionally connected to since 1984, and I've got needs. Specific representation needs. Today, I reveal 3 new Transformers to review with all of you, put on the toy shelf behind me, and finally the coup de grace, cross their names off of my list of my ultimate collection. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. I hope you like living vicariously through this adult collector. I've got a brand new Transformer, a replacement Transformer, and an army builder of sorts. So let's get it on. All right, are we ready to see who we've got today? Let's go. Well, here they are. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Let's start with Ultra Magnus. This is the robot that I am going to replace the current Ultra Magnus I have. As usual, these boxes have incredible detailed artwork. On the side is the logo artwork and the brand. Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy. This is the second version of Ultra Magnus in this long line, but it's the more Earth-based mode, and of course on the back are photos of all the modes and how many transformations it'll take. Now, Na was the only named Sharkticon in the original G1 series, but of course there were hundreds of Sharkticons. That's why he's an army builder. I've got 2 other Sharkticons from different series that I'm going to keep, but this is 86, and this series is of course supposed to represent the 1986 animated film Transformers the movie. He looks fantastic. And finally, Pipes from the Kingdom. He's got beautiful artwork as well, and the same kind of photograph and logo on the side. But he is not just a redeco, he is a remold of Huffer. They've got some great differences, which is cool because they did in G1 as well. They weren't just a straight remold. So let's get these open. But let's go ahead and open these puppies up. Let's start with Pipes. Okay, so it's a real quick rip. You guys know that I can basically just tear into these like this. Rah, rah, rah. Because I don't really keep the box, so it's no big deal, right? So I just need to get in. Obviously, we've got our instructions right here for Pipes. It should be similar to Huffer, but I do know there's already some differences in the two. So here he is right there. You know, I'm not going to bore you with cutting these things, but again, they've got some plastic rubber bands around them. He does have his pipe. I already know it's going to be different because his pipes are right there. When Huffer, his pipes are his arms. So for something so similar, they did a really great job of representing a newer character that was once just a redeco. So that's Pipes. Let's go ahead and go to Na, Studio Series 86 Na, the Sharkticon. I love the Sharkticons. It's like Shark Week up there on my shelf because, of course, I'm going to have 3 of them. A small one and another sized one as well. So let's go ahead and... There is a backdrop to these, not something I use. You can see the backdrop there. Looks like Quintesson, the Quintesson planet of, I think, Quintessa, if I'm correct. No. They're on another planet. I'm losing my train of thought. Inside, again, got the instructions for Na. I don't need that. Now, I see that they have the outer shell of the shark separately, but I do believe it's just for packaging source. He can be on his back, and we'll see him transform in a little bit when we look at him closer. But there he is there. He also has his tail as his mace weapon, as well as looks like a big old Gatling gun. I don't know, some futuristic weapon. What would I know, right? And finally, the big guy, we've got to tear him out of this box, reveal Mr. Ultra Magnus. And we're going to get a closer look when we get them out there and compare them both in their vehicle and their robot form. Now this is a bigger box. I've been dying to open this. I can't believe it. I feel really bad I'm replacing my other one, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get the best representation out of this guy. I bet there's people out there squirming that I'm simply tearing into this stuff. So, don't need the legalese, but I've got, this is big, this is thick. This is like my list to Santa Claus. Whoops! Oh well, that's okay. This is going to be a huge transformation, but I can do it. And inside, we've got Mr. Ultra Magnus there, the car carrier. He's got his missiles and his rifles separate. And there he is in the back with his tape and his rubber band. But I won't bore you with that. You know what time it is. It's time for Carousel! Let's go! Okay, here we got Ultra Magnus on the Carousel. First glance, he looks like a car carrier. He's got the red, white, and blue, and I appreciate the cab being like the Generation 1 cab, which was a white Optimus Prime. However, in a nutshell, this thing is a mess. Like, it's an effing mess. If you look underneath it, it doesn't even connect. So you start looking at the details, like this back with these kind of tilted back hubcap or whatever fender. There's so much detail, but it also is not cohesive, and it can't carry a freaking car. Not inside it, not on it. Look at how you can see right through this thing. I'm being brutally honest, but this Ultra Magnus design is horrible. Yes, I appreciate that underneath it all is the white Optimus Prime figure that you are to use parts forming, just like you did back in 1886. But here it is. This is what I mean. It's a mess. It's pieces and parts. You got to figure out that it is a puzzle. I took 25 minutes just to simply see how the top of the car carrier went on. And I think I did it, but here it is. White Optimus Prime, the base of Ultra Magnus. Now I've got to take all these and I got to put him around his shins. I've got to put it around his forearms. I've got to put it on his shoulders and then cap it all off with a new head over the top. Now, he will ultimately look like Ultra Magnus, but this is redonkulous. I hate it. This whole piece here, trying to figure in, this is exactly what it looked like as I did it. Just sort of like a snap, push, I don't know. I read the directions, but amazingly ridiculous. I got this guy to replace my current Ultra Magnus, who is much bigger, and you'll see him in a minute. But I'm not sure I want to. This thing is a mess. Now, he looks good at the end, and I generally don't transform these guys a lot once they're on my shelf, but I do occasionally. Now, look, he looks beautiful. He's got a really loose grip, though. Like, that's a wussy grip. He can't even hold that gun very well. It does spin around a lot. Beautiful head, beautiful sculpt, a lot of wonderful detail in there. He is, once he's put together, you really feel it's Ultra Magnus. It looks like it's supposed to be together. I don't want this parts former thing was ridiculous. So here it is. Here's my current Ultra Magnus on the right, who is much bigger. I mean, those things on his arms are freaking huge, but they make the base of the car carrier mode. And amazingly, that Ultra Magnus can carry something. So the new one, much more detailed, does look like it follows the animation mold of Ultra Magnus that we know from the film, but the other one just works better. You can transform that whole damn thing into the car carrying cab, and he becomes Ultra Magnus. Now, the difference, of course, is inside he's being driven by a little Titan Master as well, which I think comes from a comic book series. It's definitely not reminiscent of any of the G1 cartoon or movie, but there he is. There's this little guy who lives inside of his chest. It almost feels like War of the Worlds, where the little alien guys that actually run the larger alien spacecraft kind of thing, like it's an exosuit. An exosuit, that's very Transformer, isn't it? Speaking of, so the little guy does become a little futuristic space car. Woohoo! There he is, looking great. Now I'm just not too sure. I mean, the one on the left is in scale, looks a lot like Ultra Magnus, but what a pain. Well, we'll see which I keep. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying PopCon. Please press that subscribe button, like and comment as well. Really appreciate it. It can really help me make this channel grow. I have a lot of fun doing it. I want to throw something out. Did you see my shirt? Not planned at all, but isn't it just perfect? I mean, Jaws, Sharkticon, Jaws. It's like Shark Week, people. Arr! So now it makes sense to review the Sharkticon. This is a great piece from top to bottom, start to finish. I love the Sharkticon's design. I loved it from the 1986 film that went into season 3 of the Transformers in G1. But I've been wanting to have a Sharkticon that really represents it from the film. And I didn't know they were coming out with one, so I had gotten 2 others from some other series that you'll see in a minute. That fins should have been turned around. But here he is on the back. You see that shark piece, although it is packaged separately, it can stay on forever. It can transform with or without it. I actually like to keep it on to transform it. And the transformation is really quite easy. Those moon boots are so reminiscent of the original design, which went through a very explicit, beautiful design before being simplified for animation. But the face, the jaw, the transformation, the look is all perfectly representative of my 80s memory. Now, here's another one that I got from, I think, Cyberverse line. This one actually spins madly around in a circle for some reason, maybe to spin its mace, but it looked pretty close. So I did get this one as well. And even before that, I got a miniature version of the Sharkticon, which transforms very similarly to this one from the Cyberverse. So I'm not getting rid of these guys, though. I kind of like it. I do have a Quintesson, so having all the Sharkticons nearby, it's kind of a little army builder look, but Gnaw is this one, this main one on the turntable on the carousel here. Gnaw is excellent. Beautifully detailed, transforms in a lot of fun, and we'll see that in a minute. He's got the mace, he's got his gun. So there's my third one. He is small, but that's okay. I can't imagine we couldn't have a different size Sharkticons all around, but what I love about the new one from Studios 86, this one represents so well what I remember from both the movie and the toy line. He's got those great colors. Again, those boots. So wonderful design. Looking forward to it. Let's transform it. Here he is. This is not in a Sharkticon mode. Love it. This is This is the epitome of a Sharkticon. So the other two transform a little differently, but they ultimately look similar. His arms actually, the arms connected to his cheeks, they are articulate, unlike the other ones. Like I said about the back, it can stay on as you transform. You can see those moon boots right there. They're inside the body where he curls up. But his transformation is fun and it works. It's tight. Especially the tail here, easy, puts on and becomes his mace at the end. Yeah, I love the way it transforms and folds into itself. Now, it's not like it's not a shell former at all. It's truly a transformer. All pieces stay on and cohesively go together, snapping up. So here's the other guy in his transformer mode, in his alt mode as a shark. A little bit bigger and rotund, but still you can see. A lot of people go, what's the difference? You can see these differences. The one in the middle, though, is definitely from the 1986 film, the one that I ultimately have in my head and wanted that version, and now I got it. But I'm not going to get rid of these guys. They look beautiful. They all have the mace-like tail. Everyone's just slightly different, which is fun. Now you can see in the other two Sharkticons on the ground, their hands are connected to their feet, and you can see it kind of helps stabilize them. But not on Na in the middle there. His hands do fold up into his feet and legs, which make him a tighter transformer. So he was totally worth the money, totally worth the buy. Let's go on to our next guy. Who was it? Y'all remember from Kingdom? It's Pipes. All right, Pipes is a small tractor trailer. He is from the G1 line, but he wasn't in the first version. This is Huffer. Huffer was in the first G1 series, and they have a very similar transformation, but it is not identical, which is very funny. In the G1 line, when they came out with their second series of mini Autobot spies who were redecos, they were actually just redecos completely with a new name, but not this guy. Even in G1, they had some differences, including the pipes that are connected to the side of their body. In Huffer's case, they are his hands, but in Pipe's case, he actually has pipes as well as his hands. So there's some little unique differences. Plus the cab. The cab is totally a different transformation, which is really amazing to me. Let's get him transformed. Well, here he is. So you can see his hands, which were the pipes, now have extra pipes as his lasers, which follow the animation model of the cartoon. Look at the cab over on the back. It's the back of the cab. Again, this will be different in Huffer, and although they are so similar, have similar transformations, there are some differences. So I found it a great homage that Kingdom was going to have a similar take on these two characters that they did in the G1 series. They didn't have to. They could have just made it cheap and made them identical just with different head sculpts as usual, but they didn't. So beautiful mold. Here we see the backside of both of these guys. You can see the difference already how they wear the top of their the top of their cab. So again, legs look similar. There's a lot there going on, but there isn't the extra the pipe lasers that are on Pipes. But Huffer's got his hands pop right out, and that's it. He's got his own gun, which are replaced on Pipes as the laser. But look at that cab over. There's a difference in how Huffer wears it, and that is part of the transformation. I did not make that up. So some very similar deco and molding. Here's all three of my new guys. There is Ultra Magnus, there is Pipes, and there is Na. Oh, by the way, so Pipes and Ultra Magnus came with these really cool lenticular trading cards. Don't know what to do with them, but they look neat. As for Magnus, I really hated the transformation. It is a mess. It is a wreck. It is very difficult to do, and I hate it, but he looks good. Pipes is fantastic, and he goes well with the other mini spies, and of course, I love Na. So here we go. Let's put him on the shelf. Well, as always, they look great up on the toy shelf. And of course, I had to replace my old Ultra Magnus, but believe me, I'm not throwing him in the trash. He'll find a new life somewhere else. Now, for one of the best parts I have here, this is my list. Let's go ahead and cross these three off my list. Actually, four. I did get another Transformer just about a week ago, a Six Gun. He is a new version of Six Gun who came with Metroplex. Now, as you can see up in the top, I don't have Metroplex yet. He's about $1 million on the aftermarket, but I got Six Gun just in case. So now I can take 4 Transformers off the list. Feels pretty good. That list is getting really small. This collection has an end goal, but with all the Masters of the Universe Origins collection they've been like revealing lately, that list is getting pretty long. So unless they make something else that I just can't resist, I'm doing pretty damn good. And I'm glad you're here for that, folks. So those are Transformers. I've got so many of those and I love them. And there's still a few things on that list I gotta get. Now, if you haven't been to Collection 82, my sister's site of graphic design and illustrations of this kind of content by yours truly, hit it up. There is a link in the description here for this show, and I hope you can find something great there that's right up your alley. Help me put my thing on your thing. Hope you return. I got some other great shows for you that you're gonna really enjoy. So until next time.